How did you get from zero to where you are now as a millionaire?
So, in particular, like what I do, so
Mm-hmm.
I do e-commerce. Like I said, I do blend of drop shipping and fulfilling from the States. When I started, I would say it took me about 6 to 8 months of consistent work before I started seeing money. And when I say that, I mean 1K days in revenue, 2K days, and then once you start building up that momentum and get in contact with the right people, now you actually have like a foot to stand on. Like, hey, I'm doing 1K days. Like, can you help me? Can I help you? You get like an exchange of information from people in your industry, and then that really, like, that networking and exchanging ideas can really, really, what's the word, exponentially grow your.
Expedite the process of
Oh
success.
yeah, for sure. So I think in about once like 6 to 8 months had passed, and I made, let's just say like my first $100,000 in revenue. That's when I started, really, really picking up that snowball, and then I think within the next month we had done like 400, $500,000 in revenue, and then we just really picked up from there. And I think we had like came in like slid into Q4. Q4 is, I mean, great for any business. Saw really, really good numbers. I think by the end of 2021 Q4, we'd probably done about almost $1 million in revenue.
Just Q4.
This is, yeah, just Q4, because that's when
Wow.
things started picking up about September. So like I had started in like January, February time, and then September is when things started really picking up. Yeah, by the end of 2021, we had done almost $1 million in revenue. So again, so much can change in a year, and when January rolled around again, my life had changed. So yeah, I would say it took me, and to get to where I am now, oh, the things that I was making money, sure, in when I first started out, but the way I scaled my business is through the use of interns. And so we would get people, teach them how to do exactly what we do, let them test products for us. We wouldn't pay them, they wouldn't pay us. We would just front all the capital costs, and they would take profit share once, if there was profit. So initially, when we started out this model, we were giving away 20% of profit share. Sounds really good on paper. When you actually come down to the numbers, our interns were making more than us because, well, the 80% that we were keeping was being recycled into the business. They were taking 20% as like a salary, whereas
Right.
like all the 80% we were making was just, again, getting reinvested. So we weren't really keeping anything. So our
Mm-hmm.
interns were ended up, making more than us, and like as time went on, like I came up with an idea, like, okay, we can give them 15% of a profit share, but and if they really want to be a shareholder in the business, they take only 50% of that and they recycle the other 50% of their cut, oh, just like us. So I mean, I now pay myself a salary for my business, because what's the point of like running a business if you don't.
You get to enjoy
uh,
the fruits of your labor.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And not, it's also for tax purposes. If anyone knows, in the States, like having yourself as an employee, like as a W-2 employee for in your own business is
Mm-hmm.
great for tax. And so, yeah, we definitely changed a lot about the way we ran our business. So, sure, I can say I did almost $1 million in revenue in 2021, but oh my gosh, I could have made so much more. I lost a lot. I think I still have so much more to learn. Like I've had higher months in the past. Like I think last year, we did about $500,000 in revenue, and like our profit margins were very, very high.
Wow.
Now I think I have done $650,000 in revenue in a month, but my profit margins were so much lower. And
Okay.
so that's just the inconsistency of being an entrepreneur, and but then being able to like identify where your like leaks are in your pipeline. Where are you bleeding money? Where are, like, for example, I was giving away way too much to my interns. Just being able to identify those little things, I'm just gonna push you forward.
Okay, so along that process, because I'm kind of missing something, from month 0 to 6, what clicked? What was something that clicked for you that allowed you to exponentially propel?
Honestly, nothing had changed from like month 0 to 6. It was just working consistently at it. And
Mm.
of course, like, I think we met a couple people that introduced us to a different like testing strategy for like putting up ads and things like that, which benefited us immensely. But that doesn't change like the base layer that like I stuck at it for 6 months, and that's why that person came into my life, to show me a different testing strategy. So like sticking at it really was what helped.
So you innovated along the way, and you almost not perfected, but reached a level of perfection for your system flow.
Exactly.
And then just consistently tackled it.
Exactly.
So it's like you're digging for gold.
Yeah, exactly. And I like that word, system flow. When you have systems in place, your business is going to like skyrocket. It really, really is. And that doesn't matter whether you're at like the genesis stage or like at the scaling stage. Having systems in place is going to change the trajectory of your business. You know, if you're waking up every day and you don't know what like fire to put out first, you don't really know what you're dealing with, like, am I putting out this fire, am I going to do maintenance stuff, you know, you're kind of like going in circle. Like if you look at a line, like you're just going in circles in one place. But if you have systems, you can actually like move forward. You know what I mean?
Okay. You know, I would love to actually see that on paper, because like for you to say that, like I'm more of like a visual person, but I think I can.
So
am
I. Yeah. That's why I use my hands a lot.
Yeah,
but,
that was.
You know, like if you were just to like walk in a straight line, but then you stop and you keep making circles.
Right.
You know, because you're just like chasing your own tail, putting out a fire, which is probably like the fire probably started because of your lack of system. Then you're not really going forward. But as soon as you're like, okay, like gonna deal with this first. This is our, you know, like, okay, Mondays we talk, like Mondays are like, we say Mondays, media Mondays. So we're going to focus on like, okay, what went wrong about like our content, you know, what went wrong, what went right. You're actually dissecting your business and like taking that step forward. And like, yeah, of course you have to, you know, fires are always going to be there in businesses. If you have like dedicated like workflow to address those fires, again, you're moving forward and you're not just like, oh my God, like our video didn't do well. Oh my God, you know, like we have customers that are complaining about us. Again, you're just moving in the same spot, but systems allow you to like address every single aspect of your business, including maintenance, which a lot of people don't give a lot of value to. They're like, okay, well, if there's issues, we got to solve them. How do you change the level of issues you're dealing with? Because you don't want to be dealing with the same issues forever. You want to have different set of issues, and like as you grow, your issues grow. More money, more problems.
That is so valuable. I don't think you guys understand. If you understand this conversation, you're right there. Like your mind is definitely elevated to a point where you can take off. So wow.
For sure.
That was.
And if there's any way that I can frame it to make a lot more of our audience understand, I'd love to do that if you have any questions for me.
Is there anything that you feel like you could give more value for the viewers, or was that most of how you became from zero to who you are now?
I said this in my reel, and if you haven't watched my reel, then I will say it again with a little bit more value.
I'll include the link.
Yeah. Don't get caught in analysis paralysis. And I am a huge perfectionist. Like I was like a perfectionist in school. I would ask for extensions on essays, not because I hadn't done the essay, but because I didn't think it was up to my par, up to my standard. And so I would like put off, you know, things that didn't need to be put off. So trust me, I get it. Like, it's a great skill to have. Having an eye for detail, having that, you know, like your own flair. You know, there's a reason that I succeeded in, you know, e-commerce and dropshipping. Like a lot of people, you know, get at it. And of course, like me adding my touch had a huge impact. But at the same time, I learned that sometimes good is good enough. And you would much rather have, again, just a good enough initial starting point, and then you build off of it rather than, well, not having started at all. Don't get caught up in analysis paralysis. You know, I have a lot of friends of friends, family reaching out to me like, oh, how do I open up a Shopify store? There are YouTube videos for that. It's not a good use of your time or my time for me to answer that question. But if you call me up and ask me, hey, I've tested products. It seems to be getting good engagement, like a good click-through rate. But something about, you know, like I'm getting like a really high click-through rate, but nobody's purchasing. I can then tell you, use my expertise and say like, okay, if you have a high click-through rate, that means there's something about your landing page that is turning people off.
Right.
you know. So, and not just not just asking me. If you're gonna ask anybody, any mentor, any, you know, expert in your space, in your field, do the work first.
Do your due diligence.
Yeah, do your due diligence of getting your basics down, so you don't waste your own time, and of course your, you know, your expert or
Your
you know, mentor's time with like questions that it's just not worth their expertise.
Exactly. Okay.
You know, like I can tell you, like, you know, what to change about a really good creative, you know, how to like get a better hook. I can tell you, you know, different like ad testing strategies. But how to open a Shopify store is something you can Google.
So basic.
You know, to finish off my point, like, when I think the first store I built probably took me a month. I build stores now like in 30 minutes, and I don't even have to build stores anymore. I have my team doing for it, but I just built like a store in 30 minutes. It takes me, you know, because I've already split tested, you know, I know that this theme works, I know that these colors work, but the only reason I know that they work is because like I did it to begin with. Of course, you can Google these things like, oh, what theme is the best, but until you actually do it, you know, everything has a learning curve. Easiest way for me to like summarize what I'm trying to say is my biggest problem when I first started was like I didn't know how to add a buy now button in addition to like my add to cart button. My biggest problem now, like I said, is like I have customers complaining about broken product. After you jump that learning curve of like how do you add a buy now button to your website, you hit the ground running. So just doing your due diligence of just starting, because like there's a much bigger learning curve than that's even like worth your own time. Just do it, start. You know, it's better to have like a shitty Shopify store with like really bad ads than, well, have done so much research on like what product you think is going to sell like on the get-go and no store. All you have is research, you know?
Right.
You would much rather like test like a bad product, but in that way you'll at least know how to build a Shopify store. If you're just waiting for the right time, the right product, the right industry, the right anything, well, like once you actually step your toes and you're like, wait, hey, I don't know how to make this website work. And then it's just going to be a whole other like learning curve, and you're just wasting your own time. So don't get caught up in analysis paralysis. Use your mentor's time wisely. And yeah, do your due diligence. Like you said, yeah, get your basics down and just do it. You know? You would much rather like make the mistake and like when you had like first done it than spend so much time researching about it and like you do it and, well, you're like, oh, this doesn't work. You'd be more defeated because you feel like you've put so much time into like researching into it. That's why a lot of people quit dropshipping. Because they spend so much time watching videos and they're like, oh, like I've done it and I tried it, it didn't work. Because they think like they're super informed. But the reality is like if they had just done it, they would have been able to like pinpoint and identify issues much quicker.
What we've covered today in this video was more than valuable, and I think we can talk on the offline. But thank you guys for watching.
Thank you guys for watching.
Please subscribe. Leave a comment down below on any value that you might have gained. And don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Once again, thank you guys for watching, and peace.